How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to the Seattle Kraken franchise mode here on NHL 22, episode number 4, moving into the 2022 off-season draft, contracts, free agency, everything. In the last one, our first ever playoff appearance was a solid one, I would say. We took down our new rivals, the Vancouver Canucks, geographically and divisionally, 4-2 in 6 games before moving on to the Western Conference semifinals, and we fell in Game 7 overtime to another new rival, the Anaheim Ducks. They went on to lose to the Stars, who lost to the Leafs in the Stanley Cup Finals. So didn't end up losing to the best team. It was a shameful goal that trickled through in overtime. Wasn't the greatest way to go out, but nonetheless, inaugural season, division championship, second round Game 7. I'm pretty happy with that. 49 win season, we'll take it. But now we move into the offseason with lots of questions. We had a good team. We put together a ragtag group of bellows who came in and fought hard. But the question becomes, who's actually here long term and who is just kind of a band-aid salary cap kind of piece before we now move into free agency? We have money to spend, we have some prospects growing, etc. So it's going to be a big off season, and thank you for all your help in the comments. This is the type of episode where we earn our paychecks as part of the managerial staff. We have lots of questions to go through, starting with the draft, and lots of big comments to get to as well, so you could probably jump ahead maybe 5-10 minutes if you don't like the comments, but the comments are what make this series and this channel unique, so I want to get through as many as possible and take all your ideas, synthesize them, and boil them down, and then figure out what the best course of action for this franchise is. So starting off over on the Discord server, I'm going to switch it up today. Discord server, then to YouTube comments. Hef says Larson was awful. You don't have to tell anybody twice if you saw the playoffs. That was a tough in-game sim. I say trade him. It's imperative, in my opinion, to move up in the draft. We are currently picking at 25, by the way, as our prospect pool is pretty much one player, Matty Beniers. I would suggest either going for one of the snipers or the goalie. If you go for the sniper, make sure that he and Beniers are kind of matching up in the chemistry to line up. Insert the usual comment about checking out the young guys in free agency, even if there's possibly no free agents who have potential. And of course, PS, remember to look at those big Western Cowboys in the draft. So before we get too deep into draft comments, if you don't know who we're talking about, here is the draft class that we're dealing with in 2022. First overall pick, Boris Svitov from Russia. Medium franchise, power forward winger. He had some decent stats for an A+ league, but he's already NHL ready. Owen Nolan, similar style. First overall pick's going to Buffalo. I doubt they want to trade it, but I guess we'll see when we enter into the draft. Second overall should be Shane Wright, but who Hef's comment was referring to when he mentioned the goalie was the guy that I was most interested in, Peyton Wilm. 2-bar medium elite. He probably is medium elite at that draft spot. Slated to go at 21 according to our scouts, 19 in Central Scouting. Really good stats. It says that he is 1 year away as well, which usually means that he is probably between 71 and 73 overall, I would say. At 18 years of age, with good potential like that, he would definitely be our future. We can move out Chris Drieger. We could bring in Malcolm Subban to be a Band-Aid for 1 or 2 years. Wilm becomes our backup in 1 or 2 years, and then Grubauer moves out, and Wilm becomes our actual starter, maybe in only 3 seasons from now, which would be huge for this franchise, as we would love to get a guy slated between the pipes long term. Zach left a comment about how we should let most of our guys go into free agency because they're asking for too much, and we should target the first overall pick. Again, it really just depends on if Buffalo wants to trade it or not, because if they don't, I'm probably not even going to think about it, because then realism goes out the window. Goalie at 19, very intriguing as well, but of course number 1 is always better. I'm seeing a lot of people call for Adam Larsson's head. I get your point, but $4 million per season with term isn't bad for a defensive defenseman, his overall. So maybe we give him one more chance. John Klingberg is the big fish that he wants in free agency. It doesn't matter term because he can always be traded. Give the man what he wants. Now getting into Hobbsy's essay, as you can see by the massive book on your screen. Feel free to please pause, take a little bit of time to read this masterpiece. There's a reason that I pay Hobbsy so well, and his mastery is on display right here. This will be long. Data, you don't need to cover everything I'm going to say. It would take too long, which is why everyone watching needs to join the Discord if you haven't already to get these suggestions in full detail. Essentially, Hobbsy is giving us 3 options. Run it back, full-scale rebuild, or minor retool. Each of those has a little paragraph about why it would be best, but I think minor retool fits the best. Basically, some players get shipped out, new guys come in, and we try to improve the team with different guys and not overpaying the ones who are already here, not, really going crazy just to keep the same guys when we could use that money elsewhere. Some players who don't fit or don't have a role anymore are out, new players come in. Draft targets are between Svitov at number 1, Wright at number 2, Juracek at number 5, two-way defenseman. Interesting case as the top-ranked D-man on the board. I feel defense was our biggest issue this year, and if trading up into the top 3 does not work, maybe 5 does for the top-ranked D-man. Matthew Savoie, also a good fallback. He's also listed as a gem. Wilm at number 19, realistic trade-up option. We do need a plan for when Grubauer leaves. Do like Wilm as a top target. And also Colburn, final guy on the short list, ranked at 21. A trade-up is possible. Also listed as a gem. Could play on the right of Matty Beniers for years to come. If you're interested, there he is, Byron Colburn. Scouts have him at ranked 16, but he's going to go at 21 or 22. Not the craziest numbers for a C- league, but he is 17 years old, 3 years away, so he's probably like a high 50, low 60 overall. Similar to Rick Nash. Depends on what we're really going for and what presents itself in the draft. Hobbsy thinks that Palat, Yarncrow, and McCann are all guys who should be extended, but Schultz wouldn't be terrible to bring back, but he wants roughly $7 million. I think that's too much. Domi wants too much. Butcher seems expensive. Maybe we should be targeting a guy like Josh Manson. Look at the playoff stats. We had 2 D-men in Alexiak and Fleury with a plus rating. I know plus minus isn't the end-all be-all, but in franchise mode, it definitely has more value than the real world. I think another solid D-man or 2 to help out defensively would go a long way. This also leads into the next point. I think Larson should be gone over Alexiak. I know Zach mentioned Alexiak due to the contract and such, but Alexiak was just much better in the playoffs and only cost $600K more. I think Larson has to be moved over Alexiak. End of the essay. If you read this far, I appreciate it. If you skimmed it, I understand. Go Kraken. So I do like that point on Alexiak. Getting paid 4.6 for third pair minutes would not be sustainable long term, but if we do move out Larson, then putting him, Jamie Alexiak, on the second pair at 4.6 makes more sense, especially when he's simulated a lot better than Larson. And then on top of that, Hef says, I'm boycotting the club until Larson is gone. Hashtag Larson out. Larson, thanks for the bad playoff performance, but it's time to say goodbye. I'm Sean Avery, agrees on Alexiak. He says he's a natural leader, big frame, 6'7", good speed. If someone's got to go because of salary, it's Larson. They don't make players like Alexiak anymore. His sister Penny is also a great athlete for Canada. And tell yourself that, he only scores 2 or 3 goals per season, but they're all like this one. Coast-to-coast breakaway, blocked shot, scores on a breakaway, forehand, backhand against Vegas here. Some great video evidence from I'm Sean Avery. So you know what? The more I read, the more I'm sold on Jamie Alexiak. Moving into the YouTube comments, as always, I can't get through all of them, but thank you so much for all these great book essay suggestions. I love taking the time to read and reply to all of these. Tic Tac thinks that it was a great first season. Not sure if wanting Wilm is down to him being 1 year away or because Gruby whiffed on both overtime goals during the run, but he'd be my pick to target in the draft as well. Aiden likes Connor Geeky, a guaranteed medium elite, and is a power forward, a center who is a position that we need help in. Nathan Gaucher is also another example who has some elite potential. See which one looks better, and if getting one of those power forwards is possible, that would be great. Vinny says the goalie at number 19 could be an interesting option. As you said, he could be the starter of the future. Stats look really good. Not unreasonable to go from 25 to 19, so I say go for it. Great video data. Can't wait for the offseason. Neither can I, Vinny. Thank you very much. Jack also likes Colburn if he drops to us. Also, hold on to our picks for now if we want to move up. But move players like Domi who are asking for way more than their value if you do feel the need to trade up. The guys that Jack would like to see re-signed include Palat, Appleton, Donato, Colin Miller, Hayden Fleury, and Malcolm Subban, but he wants Justin Schultz going out the door, as well as Yarncrow, Butcher, Domi, and Johansson. You can obviously pause and read way more about this. He put the time into a great comment, so I would encourage you to do so. Trades, right now, Drieger. Cap hit is atrocious for that performance. And we have a viable backup in Malcolm Subban. Maybe see if we can get him over to a team like Arizona, maybe. 2-3 years down the line, we think about Alexiak. I love the guy. Cap hit's horrible, but you know what? We'll give him those second pair minutes next season. Maybe we don't have to, but it is true that we'll definitely keep that in mind moving forward. Mike also isn't too happy with Drieger's underperformance, so suggest maybe hanging on to him now, dumping him later, but either way, he's going to be going eventually. In the draft, Matchuk, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. First time I've ever seen him. I know he's a good prospect in the real world. He's a top 4 D. Luneau also a top 4 two-way D. Both have simmed well. Consider taking either of them at 25. And speaking of Matchuk, Troy says that he went to school with him, so that's really cool. If we don't get him now, he would definitely be a target for us moving forward as we try to get fun connections like that going in the mix. And last comment, Scott says that he does like the idea of pursuing Wilm in the draft. Just like Jack said below, we're paying Drieger way too much for what we're getting out of him. Get him out of here ASAP. Don't see Gruby or Subban as the long-term option Wilm could be. Let Gruby and Subban be band-aid options while he develops. So thank you everybody for those comments. All of it has been taken into consideration, synthesized into my brain, and of course a lot of it depends on what comes our way, and then we deal with it according to the suggestions that you have given me. So thank you for that. We're ready to hop into the draft. We know that we have a lot of players who may not be coming back because they're asking for way too much. Justin Schultz was our guy on defense. He had a great season and everything, but now at the age of 31, he wants $7.325 million. Even at 85%, I think that's too much for Justin Schultz. If his demand were to come down, that'd be a different story, but right now, I'm kind of thinking about trading Justin Schultz and replacing him with someone who maybe costs only a couple $1 million more, if anything, like John Klingberg. So I'm not totally sold on keeping Schultz. Not totally sold on keeping a guy like Max Domi, who, yeah, he was making 5.3, but that's only because of last season. Moving into your next contract, I don't think you should still be getting paid 5.2, 6 point whatever. You signed that deal when you were scoring like 70 points on the Canadians. This year, yeah, he had a good year, but it was still 53 points. 53 and 76 is great, but like $6-7 million, I don't know about that one. So Domi's also a candidate to be moved out if the opportunity presents itself. So let's head into the draft and see which picks are up for grabs. If 1, 2, or 3 are up for grabs, especially 1 for the franchise player, or maybe even 3 for Shane Wright or whoever drops to 2, those are all going to be interesting options to see here. So let's check it out. First overall pick is not up for grabs. Neither is 2 or 3, but 4 is. Okay, so the Winnipeg Jets are open to trading pick number 4, and then no picks are open until pick numbers 9 and 10. Okay, so we can't get the franchise guy. We don't have the trade value for it, and Buffalo would not want to trade that opportunity either just for like the rights to a couple players and like a first this year and a first next year. That wouldn't be realistic. So I'm going to think about trading for number 4, maybe? We could use the 4th overall pick to take that defenseman. Jiricek is a good prospect in the real world. It would be nice to get a real-world prospect. Generated prospects are fun, but getting real-world prospects are really fun as well. From the Extraliga, 6'3", 18 years of age, David Jiricek, 10 points, plus 13, -1. 47 games played in an A-plus league. Similar to Brent Burns, 1 year away, so that means he's probably a low 70 overall. Similar to Brent Burns is pretty cool, though. Scouts have him ranked at 4, because our forwards, nowhere in our prospect pool are we amazing. We pretty much only have Matty Beniers. So we have to, restock or just stock up for the first time at all these positions. Jiricek as a medium elite defender, 4th overall. I could see that being pretty interesting. What would it cost is the question now. What would it cost to move up from 25 to 4? So Winnipeg, I will give you the 25th overall selection straight up. And now when I go to skaters matching the block, who are you interested in? I do see Adam Larson has a lot of value here. I might need to take advantage of Adam Larson's value, even if I didn't want to trade him. I do like that trade value. So all this is just maybe here. If I were to give you the 25th overall pick and Adam Larson, let's just throw this straight up. Aren't where you need to be in value offered. Can I throw you the rights to another player and that pushes it over, or are you really in another ballpark here? If I throw you the rights of Marcus Johansson here, who I'm definitely not taking back, what do you think about this, Winnipeg? We're still not okay. We're still not where we need to be. Well, what about, actually, if I offer you Chris Drieger? If I take off Johansson, I give you Drieger. What's your goalie situation like here? Do you need a backup? Yeah, Eric Comrie is not the greatest, so backup would make sense for Winnipeg. So how about the 25th overall pick, Adam Larson and Chris Drieger to move up to number 4? Could I take anything else back just in case? Toss in a 7th just for good luck? What do you say here, Mr. Shovel Day Off? Okay! Okay! I'm happy to accept this proposal on behalf of the Winnipeg Jets. We consider it a done deal. All right, Winnipeg. Thank you very much. Adam Larson, Chris Drieger, good luck on the Jets. We'll see you around the Western Conference. But just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we have moved up to the 4th overall selection. Okay, we can do that. So Svitov ended up being 80 overall, medium franchise, probably 5-star shooting. Yeah, he's great. He has the X factor, all that stuff. Shane Wright, high elite, goes 2nd. Brad Lambert, Minnesota Wild franchise mode legend, goes after that. Pick number 4. Okay. This is not a normal fourth overall pick in future EA drafts where it's like a guaranteed 80 overall guy. It's more of a realistic one, which I appreciate. We could take Matthew Savoie, medium elite playmaker, even geeky, medium elite power forward, stuff like that. But we really have no defense in the system. We have defense right now, but really, like, Cale Fleury is our best guy. We at least have Matty Beniers. I would like to get a good guy on defense moving forward, and we can continue to build around those two pieces. So I think it kind of has to be David Jiricek here. Pakarainen, high top 6 is not going to be him. Savoie, Geeky, even Gaucher, all those guys are very tempting, but they all have medium elite potential. I'm sure they'll all be great. I don't think we can really go wrong on this one. Our scouts have him ranked at 4. Let's just go ahead and pull the trigger on this one. Hello to all our fans back at the Climate Pledge Arena. Whee! Thank you for a great inaugural season. We're very excited to get back onto the ice with the 4th overall selection in the 2022 NHL entry draft. The Seattle Kraken are proud to select from Extraliga, David Jiricek. David, welcome to Seattle, my friend. You are 72 overall, medium elite, 2-way D. I like it. For the 4th overall pick, we will take that. And look at the X factors. Yes, okay. Tape to tape with 5 other superstar abilities. Bang! Oh, that could be huge moving forward. Absolutely huge. Medium elite, let's see the stats here. Pretty much 2.5 to 3 stars all across the board. I'm looking forward to seeing some good growth from Jiricek, and he could be like first, second pair in the AHL next season, especially as a European prospect. So, okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jiricek. Matthew Savoie goes next, medium elite, to the Predators. Pakarainen goes next to the Sabres, so he didn't go early. It was, yeah, Brad Lambert, of course. So good by teams to pass on him. But then the Sabres definitely missed out as they could have had Geeky. So now I'm thinking about the goalie at 19. Is 18 up for grabs? No, but pick 19 is. It's a bit risky, but it's definitely easier to trade for a pick that a team wants to trade. Look at that trade value for Jiricek as well. Shoo! Not too shabby. So let me see here. What would it cost to move up to pick number 19? I don't want to trade pick 57, but I probably have to. We have a good number of picks next season. We have 2/3 now. We have 3 seconds and 2/3 next year. So let me see if I can give you a 1/3 this year. I'll give you, I guess, Colorado's 2nd next year, Boston's 3rd next year. How about I give you a 2nd, 2/3, and the rights to, like, I don't know, Domi or Schultz. Let me try Domi. I'm not sure who has more value. Let me try Domi first. No, he has, like, no value. But let me just try that. The rights to Max Domi, a 2nd and 2/3 to move up to pick number 19, a pick that they want to trade. Calgary says no to that. I suppose I could toss in Evans here. Riker Evans, 2nd round pick by the real Seattle Kraken in 2021, but he's 60 overall, good potential and everything. I'd like to keep a player who was really drafted by the team, but no chance he's ever going to really become anything in terms of NHL franchise mode. So if this gets us a medium league goalie, I'm okay with trading away Evans. So what do you say to this, Calgary? Trade accepted. Okay. If that's what it took to push it over, I'm okay with that. Max Domi, good luck in Calgary. Thank you for your first season with us. Please, no one take Wilm before 19. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Okay, some other top 4 Ds going. Top 6 forwards. Wooly, Gaucher, medium elite. Yeah. Okay, so that is huge. 19th overall selection. Let's head back up to the podium. There's some other good options for sure. Probably some medium elites. Colburn is very tempting as well. but I think Wilm has to be the guy. He's definitely low 70 overall, couple years away. He is the future. With the 19th overall selection in the 2022 NHL entry draft, the Seattle Kraken are proud to select from the U.S. development system, Peyton Wilm. Welcome to Seattle, Peyton. You are 71 overall. Let's go. Medium elite at 18 years of age. That's huge for a goalie. Oh, look at the X factors dialed in. And then 3 more superstar abilities. Thank you very much. Don't mind if I do. 71 overall medium elite goaltending prospect. That is a solid draft for the Kraken. And we get to keep the 57th overall pick as well. I'm glad we didn't have to trade that in the Calgary deal right there. Thank you very much. I would love to trade for another one, even to pick like 22 and try and get that from the Capitals. It would definitely cost pick 57 and more. I don't want to trade too many more picks here. Might have to pass on Colburn, 3 years away. Probably have to pass on him. I'd love some Western Canada guys. We want it to be big boys. Yeah, man, he's from the WHL as well. We want to have some local-ish talent here. Denton. Oh, man, he had great numbers. You know what? I'm going to try to make a deal work for all the people who asked for him. I'm going to see if pick 23 from Vegas is possible. Something like this. Trade accepted. Okay, there we go. So 57, 83, a 4th round pick next year, and a couple prospects we weren't using. Wow, thank you, Vegas. Okay, so I really hate to be moving so many picks, but the question is, would the 57th and the 83rd overall pick both be better? Would they both be maybe low top 6 kind of guys? Would they be better than this defenseman we're about to take right here? Vidicek is also interesting, 2 bars medium elite, but we got to get more defense in the system. Tell me how to pronounce his name, because right now it's Matejchuk. I'm probably going to go with Matejchuk from the new Moose Jaw Warriors, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. Now with the 23rd overall selection in the 2022 NHL entry draft, the Seattle Kraken are proud to select from the Moose Jaw Warriors, Denton Matejchuk. 17 years of age, and he is 65 overall, medium top 4, offensive defenseman. Everyone get excited. All the comments that wanted him. I hope that you're all excited for this. Good offensive numbers. Not the accuracy, but the shooting power is good. Definitely a project who's going to grow for a few years. Not worried about that right now. Hope that helps us down the road, because we definitely traded a lot to get there. I would love to get some other players in like round number 3 with my 80th pick. I was thinking about taking Theo Rachette. Would have been a nice pick to get there. Let me scroll down to the 3rd round-ish, at least to the 80 zone. Looking around here, yeah, there's Rachette. Because the thing is, if it goes by last year's, unless they change his potential, he's medium top 6, I think. But he is 20 years of age. So, and 3 years away at 20 years of age. I'm not sure if it's worth trading all the way up to a 3rd round pick when we don't really have a lot to trade with right now anyway. So I think I'd rather get quantity over quality maybe. Let's go all the way to pick 121 with 3 first-round picks. We really went off in this draft, not replenishing, but just building up a good prospect pool for our future without giving too much up either. So not a good year for scouting in year number 1. It never is. We don't know much. Best we know is 2 bars medium elite for Tuukka Malmivara there, who for all we know is a low top 9. Couple bars low elite, couple bars medium top 6. So I'm going to go by our scouts here and central scouting. I'm going to just follow. I'm going to take a shot on a guy 1 bar medium elite. Terrell Gallagher there's a Ukrainian flag, there's a Polish flag, who knows what he is. Terrell Gallagher, 6'4". Yeah, okay, medium top 6D. Not horrible for the 4th round. Likely never to be anything special in our franchise, but we will take it. Let's get some quantity here. 2 bar medium top 4D. I will take that. Spruev. He's from Estonia. But there's a different flag next to him, so whatever. Spruev, you are medium 7th D. Yikes. These aren't great picks at the end here. I might just trade these picks for 7ths next year when we have more uncovered on these guys. Here's 2 bars low elite, but that's still not great. Best we have now is 1 bar there. Now, you know what? I'm going to trade these picks. Let's just take a 7th next year since they were the worst team this season. Actually, they don't even have their own 7th. You know what? Let's go even further then. I'll take your 7th in 2024 when my scouting is really much better. So a 7th in 2024. I doubt anyone will think blah, 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 blah. Okay, thank you, Arizona. Let's finish off this draft. A pretty solid turnout. We didn't get much in the depth in the other rounds. But you know what? In years number 1 and 2, even year 3, rounds 3, 4, 5, there's not as much talent. You got to go for those first round guys. We had 3 first round picks in our first ever draft. I guess first ever draft with us at the helm. Yurchek, Wilm, and Matichuk. So I'm very content with that. Even though we didn't get as much in the later rounds, we pretty much missed on both our other shots. We will take those guys. If the option was getting to trade up for Matichuk or getting to take Theo Rochette, who's medium top 6 but 20 years old, and then another guy who we're not sure if that was going to be a hit or miss, I'm happy to do the trade up and get that medium top 4 D defense. All right, so I have lots of players who need to be re-signed here. It's going to be a busy re-sign phase. I won't subject you to all of that, but I'll just to give you a quick little game plan of what I'm going for. We have $41 million to fill up here. So let's look at the all expiring here. Start with the UFAs. Palat, Schultz, Yarncrow, probably Butcher. Unless they want crazy numbers, I'm going to be offering them 85% of what they are asking for. Remember, that's the secret number. Like Butcher, I'm not sure if it would work to go 1 year. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to see what happens. Same with Miller. Johansson probably going to walk, guys like that. That's pretty much it for the UFAs. RFAs now. McCann, Appleton, Donato, Chalowski, Fleury. I definitely got to get all those guys signed up. Same for Cale Fleury, Dylan Gambrell. Dal Cole probably going to walk. Roy, Clegg, probably, and Lauzon, re-sign them. Christian Fisher, not sold. Lind, yes. Gauthier, yes. Phillips, yes as well. Bittner, not sure about him. Goaltending, how's it looking here? Main roster. Malcolm Subban, yes, we'll re-sign him. And then I won't sign Wilm to be the backup or even the starter in the AHL yet. I want to see if he grows by September. If he's still a 71 by the start of the season, I'll probably keep him unsigned. But if he is like a 74, 5, 6, then I'll get him signed for the AHL. Unsigned players in the rest of our system here. Yurchek, we could get him signed up. Again, I'm going to wait till the beginning of the season. I don't want to waste a year of eligibility, the ELC eligibility or whatever else. I want to be careful with all that with European prospects. It can get a bit tricky. So I'm going to wait on that, send out these extensions, and we'll see what sticks. So in the UFAs, I sent out offers to Palat, Schultz, and Yarncrow at 85% of what they're asking for. Not crazy numbers. Schultz was 3 years at $6 million, so we'll see what he says to that. Miller, Johansson, they both want in the $2 millions. Miller especially as like a 7th D. We have other people who can play up there like Chalowski, so I'm going to let him walk. We don't need really anybody else here, so I'm going to get rid of the rest of the UFAs after Butcher. Butcher wants in the 4s, so I'm going to advance a few days and see what the situation is looking like by then. RFA's also got a bunch of offers, so let's advance a day and see what everybody says about that because lots of money was sent out. Marcel Beauregard is back as our scout in the QMJHL. Subban's on board. Fleury does not like the duration. Cole Lind is on board. Gustav Olofsson, I gave him a contract. Cale Fleury signed a huge 8-year contract for $1 million. So if he pans out, he pans out. If not, easy to move. Donato doesn't like the duration. Palat, not enough. Yarncrow, not enough. Appleton, again, these durations. McCann, yeah, this dollar value as well, sorry. Duration as well for Schultz. Great. So we pretty much got nothing done there. So let me try another round of signings. All right, what these guys are asking for as RFAs is just crazy. So what I'm going to do is qualify most of them. Then when July 1st hits, they're going to magically forget that, oh, well, that's not the term I was asking for. When July 1st hits and I say, hey, here's a 7-year contract, they'll say, oh, perfect. Right now, Jared McCann, for example, he wants 3 years at 4.325. I want to really sign him long-term. I like Jared McCann very much. I'd like to give him 7 years at $5 million, 85% of that, closer to actually this number here. But then he says, no, I don't like that term. Well, tough cookies, buddy. I'm giving you millions and millions of dollars. All you got to do is sign on that dotted line. So I'm going to advance another few days here, or at least 1 day for the UFAs. Dylan Gambrell, he asks for a 2-way deal, and he says, I'm not interested in a 2-way deal. Lauzon, Phillips, Palat, still not enough to entice. Yarncrow, not enough to entice. And Schultz, not enough to entice. These guys kill me. They say they want extensions. I give them 90% of what they're asking for, and they still say not enough to entice me to come back. Okay. You don't want 3 years at 5.150. Let's try 3 years at 5.250. You're a first-line winger. It's not crazy money, but we're not going to keep getting higher and higher. Justin Schultz, he wants $7 million. I offered him 4 years, $6 million, which is 6.05 even. Still says no. So I'm going to offer you a 1-year contract at $6.5 million and probably trade you at the deadline or something because you have value. I don't want to lose you for nothing, especially if I didn't trade you at the draft. But don't play games with me now. Calle Yarncrow, same thing. 1-year contract. You were my second line forward. You scored 50 points. Don't get greedy now. 1 year, 4.650. And Will Butcher's probably going to walk because he wants 6 years, 4.45. Yeah, all in that range. 85% is like 3.8 million. Do I want to be giving 3.8 million to Will Butcher, who scored 28 points and a +5? He did a lot of minutes. I do have to say. You know what? I'll give you your 85% contract. If you say no to it, salut la visite. Been nice knowing you. 3.8. You want 3.78, so 3.8 for 6 years. No chance you stay for all 6 of those years, most likely, but I'll try it out. Dylan Gambrell, you didn't want your thing, even though that's what you asked for. Qualify you. And that should be everybody, so now we can advance another day because Subban got signed. Yes. Just need another goalie for the AHL, probably. Easy decision for Palat, yeah. Easy decision for Yarn Crow. Easy decision for Butcher, that's cool. And easy decision for Schultz. Of course, those were all easy decisions. Leaves us with $22 million. We'll sign our RFAs on July 1st. If we're tight in salary, we'll just trade away a guy like Schultz, for example. And we definitely want to make a splash in free agency, so let's get to July 1st. Alright, so I sent out some offers to some new scouts. Let's go into free agency and see who's available and see what kind of money we have to be working with headed into free agency here. Definitely some big names. We want to sort by UFAs first, going by overall. So the big dog here, Patrice Bergeron, 92 overall. 36 years of age, though, so I'm not sure if he's going to be looking to come to Seattle. Had a big season for sure. Doesn't fit our lines particularly well either. Evgeny Malkin, cheap contract, relatively. 2 teams interested in him, though. Chris Letang, Johnny Gaudreau, Vincent Trocheck. A lot of teams interested in him. Pavelski, Raquel, also very interesting name. Ricky Raquel had a good season with Anaheim. Fits our top 6 according to the scout. Trocheck, fits forward line 1, off. Either Raquel or Trocheck. Actually, Raquel's not really a centerman, but Trocheck could be our new first line center. I don't think Malkin really wants to come to Seattle, so I won't go after him. But Keith Yandel, David Perron, Nazem Kadri. Wow, there are a lot of names out here. There are a lot of names. Josh Manson, who we were thinking about as well for the defense. Oh boy. Okay, so we definitely have to free up some money here, most likely. First, let's take care of our RFAs. RFAs here. So we currently have 22.115 million in extension, well, just in dollars pretty much. I wanted to give him that 7-year extension, but now his asking price has gone up a little bit. So I'll probably wait a little bit on Jared McCann. Mason Appleton, I'm going to find, 1 year, 2.5. All their asking prices have gone up, but they're going to drop back down to earth once they see nobody offering them contracts. Like Chalowski wanting $3 million right now, not going to happen. I could give him a 2-year or a 1-year type of thing for cheaper. That is possible as well. All these guys just want too much money right now. So I think I'll probably make my moves that I want to make and then deal with the RFAs afterwards, because I don't think I can sign them right now and I can't afford to wait. So let's look at what kind of position we need to fill over here on this team. We definitely need a new first line centerman with Domi out, that's for sure. Sorting by overall here, forwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a lot of holes to fill, but keep in mind we have the RFAs as well. So let's say the RFAs do get signed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Definitely in the lineup next season. There's 7 RFAs. 8, 9, 10. So we can still use 2 more forwards on the team. Now going to defense, if we look at the ones on our team for sure, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 at least. Then RFAs give us maybe 5, 6 right here. But I'd probably prefer Chalowski to be. I'd rather move Butcher even. If it means going after Josh Manson. So let's head into free agency and see what is realistic for us. First, looking at a centerman. We need a first-line centerman here on Seattle. Bergeron, Malkin, not going to happen. Vinny Trocheck, I could see that. Nazem Kadri, definitely some issues with the discipline. I don't know. 47 points last season. Vinny Trocheck, though, 17 goals, 31 assists. Not the greatest offensive season, 41 and 60, but maybe giving him a first-line role would help. But yeah, he did all that in less than 15 minutes a night. Says he fits the first line, the scout does. Even if he doesn't, 4-star shooting, 4-star defense, great on face-offs. I'm pretty sold here on it being Vinny Trocheck. So I'll send him a contract. Other teams are interested, which is not ideal. Vancouver, Pittsburgh, Columbus, and Colorado. He wants less for 5 years, but if a team is offering him like $8 million for 4, and I give him 7 for 5, which one would he go with, right? So we'll keep that on the back burner for a second. Looking at the defense as well, Letang and Yandel, I don't think those make as much sense, especially at the price tag for Yandel. Lindholm is tempting. Ristolainen wouldn't be the craziest thing. Josh Manson makes the absolute most sense, I think, at the price tag as well, and the age and all that stuff. Josh Manson, 6 years at 4.725. Yeah, we could do something like that. He did not have a good year on Anaheim last season, but he fits all deep pairings, hopefully. We can hopefully chalk it up to just being on a bad team, pretty much. Eric Gustafsson wants 5.1. Yeah. So we could probably just give contracts to Manson and Trocheck, and that could probably just be it. We could just move on from there. I don't think we need to do anything else. And also sorting by potential, if anyone's available here. But these are RFAs, so not really anyone. We could go after Zach Senyshyn. Sorella, no, not really much to go after. Eakin, low overall, not a lot to go after in the prospect pool of year number 1. It's a tough contract negotiation idea here because he wants 7.675 for 4 years, which means that we could go what makes sense, like 5 years, 7 million, which is technically 500K more than he wants. But the AI teams will be offering him 4 years, 7.7, 4 years, 7.8, stuff like that. So unfortunately, because I know the EA system, I have to stick to 4 years here, even though I'd love to try and negotiate with him. And, I wish we could have a conversation, free agent mini game, free agent frenzy. That would be great in franchise mode. But unfortunately, I have to offer him 4 years, which means I have to offer him in the 7.675 range. We're going up against 4 other teams here, so that means we have to go probably at least to 8 million. Do we want to do that? Well, we need a first-line center. We have no centerman. Kalle Järnkrok is our best bet after him. And if it's not Trocheck, then it's Nazem Kadri, right? And do I want to take Nazem Kadri as my first-line centerman for the years to come? I don't know if I trust him as much as I probably trust Vinny Trocheck. Maybe there's a bit of personal bias in there. 47 and 82, playing 14-10 a night. And then Trocheck scores 41 and 60. But he also went to Washington, right? That's true. So he really scored 48 in 80 and had 14.5 per night. So similar stuff here, but Kadri is 3 years older. So Trocheck, signing him for 4 years brings him to 32, which is a bit more, I don't know, digestible. Ryan Strome, not really a center. What the heck? Expansion team, we have money. Let me just stop talking about it and do it. 4 years, 8 million. If it's more than that, it wasn't meant to be. 4 years, 8 million. Bang. Defense now. Josh Manson. There he is. He wants 6 years at the age of 30. I don't want to do that. His demand doesn't change much at 5 years. No one's interested right now, but it's only July 1st. I'm sure people will be interested at that cap hit and everything. So I don't want to go to 5.5. I don't want to go to 6. Again, if it doesn't happen, it's not meant to be. I'm going to offer him 5 by 5. I think that's a very fair deal. 5 by 5. If he doesn't take it, he gets something better. All the best. Good on you. But I don't think I can afford to pay a guy to the age of 35, 36 in the $5.5, $6 million range. I don't think that would be smart business for us. Worst case, we go PK Subban or even Ristolainen for a year or 2. I don't think it would be a bad idea. Lindholm would be very nice, but he would probably cost us, and he wants 5 years, bring us to 32. It wouldn't be bad, but he would definitely cost in the 5.75 range. So, in later years, I'm not sure if we're going to have that money. So let's start advancing a few days now. Once those guys get signed or don't get signed, we'll be able to tackle our RFAs. So our scouts are going to start signing on here in the first couple of days here. We sent out a scouting contract to Zdeno Chara, so that's cool to have him in there. He is. Welcome to the Seattle Kraken, Mr. Chara. Cool to have him in our system. Let's see who is signing on, if anyone here. Lawton and a 6th for... No, goodbye, Philadelphia. Here's the moment of truth. Josh Manson, extremely happy to accept your offer. Your cash offer was most generous. It really was quite easy to make up my mind about your offer. Thank you, Josh. Staying in the Pacific Division. Welcome to Seattle. Makes sense that he wants to stay in the Pacific and everything. I think this is a good deal for everyone. Now, Vinny Trocheck, are you taking the 4x8 to be the first-line centerman of this team? I'm like sweating on this chair right now. Please, Vinny Trocheck. Yes. I was extremely happy to accept your offer. I was really scared only going up 300K over asking. I'm truly humbled that you chose to offer me such a lucrative contract. I won't let you down. You've really helped set me up financially. Great. Hey, happy to give the kids a couple extra presents under the tree. How much are we playing with now? We have 10.815 million. We're probably going to move on from a defenseman, either Butcher or Schultz. Schultz, Manson, top pair, Bear, Butcher. Could be Bear. I'd rather have Bean, Alexiak on the second unit. So either Bean to the first unit, and then it's Alexiak, Manson, or something like that. But either way, I think it's either Schultz or Butcher. It's probably Schultz. 6.5. I know it's only a one-year thing, but he won't stay after next season for sure. I think Schultz is the odd man out. So Schultz does definitely have a lot of trade value. I don't want to cheese and get something crazy for him. Logan Couture, a 6th and a 7th. How about that, eh? But Logan Couture, I don't know, we just signed Trocheck. Couture's going to bring him to the age of, what, 36, 37, even more on that contract. So it doesn't really make much sense. Let me just go through the trade blocks and see if any deal lines up, maybe with a prospect or something for Justin Schultz. Unless I were to move Schultz and Butcher, and then I can get someone playing with Manson on the top pair, Bean Alexiak second pair, and then like Hayden Fleury and who was the other RFA? Hayden Fleury and Dennis Cholowski third pair. So if I could find something good like that where I can move Schultz and Butcher to get a big boy to play with Manson on that first pair, that could be an option. So here's a deal I'm thinking about with the New York Islanders. There really is not a lot of options around the NHL for defensemen that fit a certain salary cap and a certain overall and stuff like that. But here's what I'm thinking about. The Islanders have three top pair D basically. Uyghur, Pulak, and Pelech. All 86 overall, all on good contracts, all with these two both with term. Mackenzie Weegar due for an extension as well. They can't have all these guys playing top minutes. You need someone on the second pair with Dobson. Dobson's going to be growing, etc. Give up one of your top guys, sign long-term like Pulak. I'll give you Butcher, I'll give you Schultz. Your top pair becomes Weegar and Pelech. Your second pair becomes Dobson and Schultz. Dobson can eventually surpass Pelech or Weegar as they become older. Mayfield can play third pair with Butcher, and Julevi never has to play. He becomes your 7th D-man. Would they do this? I don't know, probably not, but we're trying to create storylines. I'm trying to help the team as well. It's not like I'm totally scamming them. I'm getting a very good player from them, but I'm helping them out as well. Their blue line definitely improves, and they keep their players happy. We're trying to think about the world of imaginary morale. Would the Islanders do this? Maybe I could probably get something else out of it, but I want to keep it realistic as well. So let's try Schultz and Butcher straight up to the Islanders for Ryan Pulak. 8 years left at 6.15. 86 overall, two-way D, 5-star defense. No X factors for some reason, which is like disgusting. 8 goals, 14 assists, plus 21 last season, playing over 25 minutes a night. What do you say to this, New York? Trade accepted. The New York Islander fans are going to be cheering in the streets when we announce this deal. I'll take deals like this any day of the week. So if anyone thinks we fleeced the Islanders, they think they're fleecing us. I think everyone's happy in this deal. I'm very happy to get Pulak. I'm happy to free up salary cap. They're more than happy to do this deal. I think everyone comes away happy. Let me send out some contract offers to our RFAs, and we'll see what kind of situation we're dealing with the salary cap after that. Then we see if there's any money left to play with. All right, so I sent out some offers. McCann, Appleton, Donato, still asking a bit too much, especially if Appleton and Donato are going to be kind of like bottom 6, 4th line guys. Cholowski, Fleury, signed them around the $2 million range. So we'll see if they like that. If they do, fantastic. If they don't, we still have to continue simulating a few days. I'd like to figure this out ASAP so that I can go ahead and sign some sort of 4th line center as well from the free agent pool. A 2nd and a 5th for a 3rd and Jamie Alexiak. I will pass on that. I don't know how many days it takes these people to make up their minds. Gambrel accepts. So does Fleury. Cholowski rejects because of duration. Clegg accepts. Okay. Don't want to trade Alexiak with a 3rd round pick. Now we have 12.575 to play with. We can also send an extension to Vladimir Tarasenko, by the way, making 7.5, but he wants 8.7, 85%, probably around the same kind of contract. So we could do that in the next episode, or even right now, to be honest. Donato still on 2.4. Now he's willing to take a bit less. Not sure what's going to happen in the bottom six, so I don't want to commit too long to Ryan Donato. He had a great season in that bottom six, and he had some time even on the second line. So I'll give him his 2 years. It's going to be 2.025 for 2 years. We'll see if he likes that. And Cholowski still is giving me headaches with his contract requests, so I'm going to keep waiting on Cholowski because no one's going to sign him. Continuing to advance. I believe this signing will be good for myself in the franchise, period. Okay, Mr. Donato, here are your millions of dollars. Hope you're happy. So 11.310 minus like 4.2 for McCann, minus another 2.2 for Appleton around, and then maybe another 2.2-ish for Cholowski. Leaves us with 2.75-ish million. So I think we can go ahead right now and try to get that fourth line centerman, because Gambrel could play fourth line center, but a 78 overall. Didn't have the greatest season. I'd be much more comfortable with him as depth than the everyday guy. Patrice Bergeron's still out here. So is Letang, Pavelski. Wow, a lot of names still out here in the UFA market. Eric Stahl at 1.852 is actually pretty cheap though comparatively. We could go to a 79 overall, or we could just go a little bit more and get an 82, even though he'll probably drop off to an 81, maybe even 80. I do like the idea of Eric Stahl being on this team. Good leader as well. We need those leaders on our team. He could be playing with Matty Beniers as the third line center, in practice. Need a little help on those face-offs, big boy. I like it. I like Eric Stahl coming to this team if he wants to. So I think just 1 year, no one's interested. So I think a 1 year, 1.650 deal is pretty fair for Eric Stahl. We'll see what he says about that. And at the same time, I'll send offers back out to our current RFAs. And right away, the first day that I advanced, Eric Stahl doesn't need to think twice. I was extremely happy to accept your offer. The exact contract length I was looking for. Thanks. No problem, Eric Stahl. Welcome to Seattle. You're exactly what this team needs, especially with some younger players hopefully coming on board this year, coming into the lineup, finding their way in. Guys like Colin, Julien Gauthier probably going to crack some minutes with depth. Dennis Cholowski, I've decided to accept your offer. I look forward to making them blah, 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 blah. 2 years, $2 million for him. Appleton rejects, and McCann rejects again. So I guess we'll just keep playing the waiting game with them. I'm actually going to check back in like, I'm going to go, let's send to August 1st and see what they're asking for by then. And before we even get there, on July like 29th here, Jared McCann, I've decided to accept your offer. That was the RFA, since we qualified him as an RFA. That's what he signed right there. So unfortunately, we don't get to sign him to a long-term deal, but we will definitely try and get him signed on January 1st once we're first allowed to offer him an extension. So as an RFA, he signed the same deal that he had last season, which was 1 year at 2.940. But now he's a UFA, so we have to remember him, Yarncrow, we have to sign these guys on January 1st. Let's try and remember that. McCann especially. So that still leaves us with $7.72 million to play with. We want to re-sign Tarasenko. Again, going back to our forwards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 right there. Not including Appleton. So Appleton could slot in right there, and Gambrel becomes number 12. And then looking in the system, there he is, Appleton. Also, like I said, Julien Gauthier, Martin Kaut. It would be nice if they could get a little bit of time in the lineup if possible. Even Barry Boulet. Never know. And defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, oh wow, Cale Fleury grew from a 78 to an 80. Oh my goodness, and Cholowski from an 80 to an 81. Was not expecting that. So that just created some problems for us because now we have the two Fleury brothers battling it out. Hayden Fleury's potential did drop from medium elite to medium top 4. So I guess we'll have to figure that out. Was not expecting that. Lozon at a 77. Yeah, we could definitely use some players for our system as well to replenish the farm team as well. Let me take care of all of that. I'll try and get Appleton signed up. I don't need to make you sit through any more of this stuff. So I'll see you at the end of August when we run the lottery for what kind of draft class we're going to have next season. Also, now in mid-August, I think now's a good time to try and extend Vladimir Tarasenko, our captain, until the age of 36 works for me. He wants 8.725. 85% of that is 7.425. Which is $75,000 less than he's making right now. So for 6 years, our top scorer, our best player, our captain, I think we're happy with committing to him long term. We have the extension money. We could do 5 years at the same cap hit, but I think it would make sense that you'd want a bit more security. Not going to go 7 or 8 years, but I think 6 at the age of 30 makes sense for everyone. And it only takes him a couple of days to say that it was an easy decision to And it only takes him a couple of days to say that it was an easy decision to renew his contract with us. So Vladimir Tarasenko, the captain, signed on for 6 more years. All right, so as I always like to do during the offseason, we're going to randomize to see what kind of draft class quality and generated prospect quality we'll get moving into the 2023 draft. So we'll run a randomizer between 1 and 100. I've been experimenting with the numbers. I'm going to try between 1 and 25 will be low, 25 then to 75 will be medium, and then 75 to 100 will be high. Same for both of these two things, quality and class and prospect quality. Starting with draft class quality, the number I get is 79. So draft class quality will be high. It will be a strong draft coming up here. But will the prospect quality also be high as well? Generating between 1 and 100. Number I get is 9. Ooh. So interesting. We've had medium, we've had high, but I don't think we've ever had a high low here. So a high draft class quality, but the generated prospect quality will be low. So it won't be like a medium franchise and then 5 medium leads coming afterwards. But again, in year number 2, there's still real players in the draft as well, so not as many generated players, but we'll be running with high and low. Now at the beginning of the 2022-23 season means that we can go ahead and edit our lines. So I'm going to take care of the NHL and AHL to get an idea of what we're looking like headed into the preseason. Okay, so here's how we're looking headed into 2022-23, year number 2. First line, Schultz, Trocheck, and Tarasenko gives us a +1. Very nice right there. Schultz had a great first season with us last year, cut short due to injury. We'll see what happens this year. Line number 2, Palat, Yarncrow, and Bailey gets a +2. So despite the low overalls, 86, 85, and 87 with that +2 in play. Third line, Jared McCann at an 83. Matty Beniers up to an 80 overall now. Here's how the attributes look at this moment. And Ryan Donato on the right wing at an 82 overall as well. Mason Appleton, I got him signed up to a 3-year deal at 2.075. Fourth line with Eric Stahl and Brandon Tanev. Now here's where things get very interesting. On defense, we have +2s all the way down. Jake Bean now at an 83 overall gets a +2 on the top pair with Ryan Pulock. Second pair, Manson and Alexiak get a +2 as well. And then third pair, Chalowski grew from an 80 to an 82, and Fleury from a 78 to an 81. So right there, bang, there are two defensemen. Chalowski signed for 2 more years at $2 million, but Cale Fleury, 81 overall, 23 years of age, medium top 4D potential, and we have him signed for 8 more years at 1.05. I don't really like cheesing the system, but I thought he was going to be like a 7th defenseman, stuck around the 78, 79 overall range, but now he grows to an 81, so maybe he should have gotten a better agent over the offseason. I don't know what, but I guess we'll have to just, we'll be happy with what we got. Goaltending, Grubauer at an 86, backed up by Malcolm Subban at an 81. But here's where things get complicated now. Looking at the scratches, we have a forward who is NHL eligible in Martin Kaut. 80 overall, listed as a third-line forward, 22 years of age. We got him in the Landeskog deal, so we wouldn't draft him. 60 points in 82 games in the AHL last season. He pretty much has to crack the NHL, I think, this year. Defensively, we have Hayden Fleury, Cale's brother, 26 years of age, so 3 years older. Same potential now at medium top 4D, but same overall at an 81. Signed for 2.05 for 5 more years. Good term, solid numbers. But do we hang on to him or do we move him out? I don't know what kind of position we hold him in, whether it be slotting into the third pair or staying as a 7th D. And Kale Clegg, I thought was going to be our 7th D, actually, as he grew up to an 80 overall, also with medium top 4D potential. So it'll be tough to put either of these guys in the AHL. Kale Clegg, I feel like, has to be the 7th D at least. Hayden Fleury, I would like him to slot into the lineup, but Chalowski took that spot at an 82 overall now. I don't think he can move out either. This is a tough situation, so I think someone's got to get traded maybe, because I don't think this top 6 is changing. In the AHL, Jeremy Lauzon grew to a 79. Not much change in anything aside from that. Kyle Wood at a 75. He'll definitely get into the lineup. Don't you worry about that. And also, speaking of the forwards, Julien Gauthier grew from a 77 to an 80 overall. He also wants to make the NHL right now, listed as a third-line checking forward with medium top 6D potential. The former second-round pick had 51 points in 82 games. First-round pick, 21st overall. So I really want him in the NHL. Barry Boulet grew to a 78. Gambrel stuck at a 79. He'll probably go AHL this season. Phillips grew to a 78, Lynn to a 75, Lynn to a 78. Not much else there from our guys we drafted in the expansion draft. We signed Ville Husso to be the AHL starter at an 80 overall. Joey Decord is backing him up at a 77. Mason Shaw is definitely going to get in the lineup. He grew from a 71 to a 73. So it's pretty tough here. I thought that Donato, Tanev, Appleton, that would be our bottom, and even Stahl, I went out and signed him. But in reality, we could probably move on from both Tanev and maybe Appleton or Donato, and then you slot Gauthier and Couch somewhere in there, give them a little special teams time as well, and then eventually, maybe when Bailey's contract expires, Yarncro's contract expires, they start moving on to the second or third line. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now, but I'll need to hear back from all of you. Assigning the captaincies now, Vladimir Tarasenko definitely still our captain for sure, but now with Adam Larson gone, we lose one of our alternates. For the alternate captains, Josh Bailey will maintain his A, and the other alternate with Adam Larson gone, I think it's got to be Jamie Alexiak, big boy, 6'7", he's a leader, he's signed for term as well, whether he stays for his whole contract or not, I'm happy to give him the A this season. Of course, other options include a guy like Eric Stahl or even Schwartz, McCann. There's some good leaders on this team that could get some alternate captaincies, whatever. In the real world, we'd be rotating with, 3 or 4 A's or something, but that's how the captaincies will be looking headed into year number 2. Concerning our unsigned prospects, Yurchek is still at a 72, so I'm not sure if we're going to sign him for the AHL or not, and Wilm still at a 71, so probably keep both of them unsigned for this year, in my opinion. And the last thing to do before we call it an episode is to just scroll through the trade blocks and see if anything is of interest to us. If we're going to be moving some pieces, not sure what we'd want to be taking back. We have $5.9 million in cap space. Kalle Yarncrow actually has a boatload of trade value. I don't know why. Not sure if we want to expose that or not. Even Donato has a lot of trade value. Even more than Trocheck and Pulak. This is very odd. So here's a note of all the trade values on the team if you are curious about that. Our current draft pick situation, we have our first, 2 seconds, then a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 2 7ths in the upcoming draft if you want to add to that in any way. Most teams do have picks on their block, but we're just looking at the skaters matching the block and just sorting through all the teams here. David Perron, Dustin Brown, both on the Coyotes, just sorting by overall here. Buffalo, Irwin, Calgary, Zary, Ruzicka, Pelletier, few prospects. Ethan Barrett, Tony DeAngelo, both RFAs are both on the trade block. Johnny Taze, Johnson, Connolly, Bocage, PK Subban signed to a 3-year deal at 4.6. Oli Mata, Xavier Ouellet, Brett Kulak. Stranges, no one on Detroit. Edmonton, Broberg, Bourgault, a few other pieces. Hornquist, Miller, Damaris Gudis on Florida. Kings, Edler, Dahan, Stetcher. Wild, nobody. Le Canadien, Brook, Gouli, Elinin. So a lot of prospects. Theo Rachette, of course, they drafted him, but the fans won't be happy if they trade him away. Mishak also there. Matthias Ekholm on the block is a big move. Devils, Goligoski, Johansson, New York Islanders have Justin Schultz. They have him on the block. I hate that. I made you a deal that helped your defensive core. Why would you want to trade him away? New York Rangers, nothing there. Senators, Brandon Peary. Flyers, Lawton, Atkinson, Brassard, Gagne, Obi Kubel. Pittsburgh Penguins, Matheson, Ruta. Sharks, Burns, Carlson, Vlasic, Braun. A few years left on those terms. Krug, Parayko, Fox. Here's another thing I hate. The Blues are always looking to trade away their defensive core. They just signed Parayko to an 8-year extension. Why would that be happening? Nudivara, Sundqvist, no one really on the Lightning. Maple Leafs have Kasha as well as some other pieces there. Ennis, Pullman, Vegas, Hayes, no, Washington, McMichael, Winnipeg Jets, no one really there. So there are all the trade blocks if anyone piques your interest. Looking at free agency here, we saw that there are still some RFAs on the board. If anyone wants to go after an RFA, Kasha, Bear, DeAngelo, pretty much the only guys who are still out there. And they'd be interested, if we, let's say we go crazy with like a 1-year deal for Kasha, if you're really interested. He'd be asking for 2.7. So it comes down to, do they have the money to match it? And do we want to try and make something happen to give up some picks? We have the picks to make it happen. I'm not sure. So all that's left for me to do now is to send out the scouts. I will do that myself off screen, and that will be a wrap for the off season, my friends. Let me know in the comments, aside from the suggestions for the episode, do you like the whole off season in one episode? Would you prefer draft and re-sign and then free agency, etc. in another? Maybe like 2 25 to 30 minute videos, or one 50 to 60 minute video altogether. Let me know your thoughts on that, as well as what are we doing with this team. game. We have a lot of talent between the NHL and the AHL, people who need to get some NHL ice time. So a lot of it will come down to your suggestions down in the YouTube comments and over on the Discord server. Link for that in the description. While you're in the description, don't forget to check out the link for other things such as the Twitch page. Not able to do as much streaming these days as most of my free evenings are dedicated to recording these episodes, but we are going through an MLB The Show 21 franchise mode, as well as some other stuff coming your way in the future. Drop a like if you enjoyed the off season and you're excited for this next season with the new acquisitions, most notably Pulock, Manson, and Trocheck. We're going to be a good team, I believe, in the Pacific Division, looking to run it back for another division championship. Consider subscribing as well if you haven't already for all things NHL 21 franchise mode and more. A big draft and offseason in the books. Can't wait to read your thoughts and to integrate them into next episode as we move into year number 2. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.